It's shiny and it doesn't come off.
And from my side,
I mean, all the mean things you can do. It's probably the least mean things, but that would have the longest impact.
So when we go on start, you can just show your first presentation sheet.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, it's Belinda. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
So the process, I'm just going to go quickly through the process. We're going to go live on the hour. So you can just start talking. The process is quite simple. Then it is about for 45 minutes. So then the stream will close.
Great.
So you just be aware of that. And is there any presentations you would like to do? Do I need to share the screen with you?
Yes, if you would let me share my screen, that would be great.
Okay, I've done that. You've got the screen.
All right. I'll just go in and test it real quick. Share screen. Okay, you can see that?
I can see that. That's all good.
Okay, good. Awesome.
Awesome. So what I will do is I'll let you know as soon as we go live.
Okay.
On the second.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah, we should be all good.
Okay.
So what's going to happen is that we're actually watching on YouTube, Facebook, and then another platform. So what will happen is that if there's any messages that appear on this particular platform, I would then copy them into the Zoom chat box. Only me and you would be able to see that, nobody else. And then you can answer questions as they come through.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'm gonna mute my screen. I'm gonna stop the video so you're gonna have the platform to yourself.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. So that's basically the process.
Okay, let me put my background
on. We have about 5 minutes to go.
Okay.
Almost there. They're almost there. I think everything looks good. Everything looks fine. So there should be no problem. Which is good. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions that you would like to ask? So if there's anything you need to tell me, anything, you can just put it in the chat box. I will pick it up immediately.
Okay, that sounds great. I think otherwise I'm good to go.
Okay, yeah, there's about 3 minutes still to go, then we go live.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Where you from?
I'm from Kansas City.
Oh, wonderful.
United States. Yeah.
Wonderful. Fantastic. It's nice to speak to everyone all over the world.
Yes, I agree.
It makes it's so wonderful that we've got all these new technology and we can actually look at people and see people.
Yes, I agree completely.
Yeah, my video is not very nice, so all you see is like a mirror image of me. I apologize about that.
Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, 2 minutes to go, so we're almost there.
All right.
What I will do as soon as we live, I would give you the okay sign, and then you can just start talking.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay. Okay. Still a couple of minutes to wait.
All right.
So how's the weather there? Good.
You know what? It's been very good. Yes. We've been super lucky.
Oh, good. Good. We've got lots of rainstorms at this particular point in time, but it's good. We need the rain, so it's lovely to see everything so nice and green.
Yes.
Which is good. You're all excited to talk to people.
Yes, for sure.
Figures. Yeah, 1.5 minutes, almost there. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
As I said, on the minute we just go live. You can just start talking, and then just remember it's 45 minutes long. So keep that in mind.
Great.
So if you want people to ask questions or answer questions, just keep them in mind that there's a couple, to keep it a couple of minutes. Yeah.
Great. All right.
Almost there. We're 55 seconds. I'm going to put my video off so long.
All right.
Okay. So we've got 45 seconds, 41. Okay. 35, 34. Okay, about 24.
Just a second, guys. Sorry, we are 12 seconds away.
10 seconds.
Yes, you can start that.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You live.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I so appreciate it. My name is David Kunderman. I am an operating principal and mega agent in Kansas City in the United States. And today I get the honor of presenting to all of you the economic model and the lead generation model from and the budget model from Gary Keller's MREA Red Book, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And I'm excited to talk to you guys about this today because this is actually my absolute favorite topic. When we talk about the MREA book and we talk about the models inside of it, and specifically the goals that I would like you all to create for your businesses, think about it this way. So if you were going to go to the grocery store, you wouldn't go get in your car and just start driving around until you just randomly run across a grocery store, right? You might drive yourself into the ocean. No, instead what you would do, right, is you would look up the address of the grocery store, or maybe you would know where it is because you've been there so many times, and you would drive your car straight to the grocery store. Well, think about your goals the same way. Your goals are simply a destination. They are a destination that you're going to move forward to and that you're going to work towards or go towards, drive towards. You're going to drive your business towards a destination. And today, we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about where you want to go in the future. Gary Keller talks about in the MREA and the Red Book, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, he talks about you can be anywhere you want to be in 5 years. In 5 years, you can be anywhere. You can create your business and make it look like anything you want it to in 5 years. So what I've done is I have taken the MREA book and I've condensed it into all the models and systems into a Google Sheet. So you're going to have one Google Sheet. If you go to Documents right here in the platform, if you go to Documents, you'll be able to see I've given you a copy of the Google Sheet that you can use for your own. So a blank version that you can use to create. I've also put in there a video. I did basically a 1-hour video explaining everything that we're going to talk about today. So it's going to be a great review for you. You can go in and watch the video, and the video will take you step by step on how to create an MREA business plan for yourself using Gary's foundational models from the MREA book. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So in just a second, I'm going to share my screen with you. I want to say one more thing, and that is right before our session started today, In the chat, I also put a copy of, there's a link to a Google document, actually a Google Sheet, and that link is going to be the example plan, the example completed plan that I filled out for today's session that I'm going to be going through. So if you want to download that, make a copy of it for yourself, so you can follow along with the completed version, you can do that as well. So in documents, we've got the blank version and the video that you can use that will walk you through the process. And then in chat today, we've got today's version that I'm going to go over. Okay, so without further ado, let me share my screen here and let's get to that version and start talking about it. So I'm going to first do an overview with you about what this individual 2021 MREA plan really is. Again, what this document does is it's reviewing all the models and systems from the Red Book. You guys have it all in one place when you create one of these Google documents for yourself. And it starts with, we're going to go through each tab first, and then I'm going to go back and really do a deep dive into economic model and the budget model. So the plan starts with, you need to be thinking 5 years ahead. If you can get anywhere you want to go in your real estate business in 5 years, then you need to take a moment and plan what is that 5 years going to look like. So you can see on my screen, I have picked the 4 quadrants of life. I've picked the 2 most important for me to make sure that you plan, and that is your job or your career, your real estate business, and money. Then you're going to go and pick the next 2 most important quadrants in your life, whether they are family, recreation, occupation, health, travel, philanthropy, spirituality, mental well-being, whatever those other 2 priorities are for you, you're going to put those in priority 3 and priority 4. Then you're going to go through and you're going to describe if everything went awesome in each of those 4 quadrants. 5 years from now, we're sitting here having this conversation and you tell me job is going awesome and money is going awesome. And my 3rd priority, maybe it's family, and my 4th priority, travel, is going awesome. And I'm living the life of my dreams. What would that look like? And you can see I've gone through and I've given you an example of some answers when I was working with one of my coaching clients. And by the way, you guys, I have over 1,000 agents in North America using this plan on a yearly basis to drive their business. And so it's tried and proven models and systems that you can use to create a life by design for yourself. Once you've answered those 4 columns, then what you're going to go do is you're going to answer 3 important questions. What's important to you about those 4 quadrants and what you've put in there? Why is it important to you? And that should give you a rough answer as to what your big why is and what's driving you forward. I keep my big why in front of me every day. So when I have those tough days, or I don't want to lead generate one day, or I don't want to follow my plan in my system, I want to get in my car and just drive aimlessly to wherever, I stop and I go back and look at the answer to that why question, that big why question, so I know what's driving me and why I'm moving forward. Gary tells us that we need big goals in order to pull us through the small goals along the way. Once you determine what that big why is for you, then based on that big why and your 5-year goals, you can determine what is the goal that you need to accomplish for next year. And you can see in my example, I've gone through and picked this particular agent was starting basically from scratch. They were a newer agent, and the 1st year goal needed to be, they needed to do $6 million in production and net $100,000 after taxes. They also needed to time block their calendar to make sure they put in the amount of time they needed for family and travel, their 3rd and 4th priority. So we're going to start with the end in mind. We're going to start by creating that 5-year plan, that life that you really want to live, what you really want your real estate business to be, what you want your life to be, your counterbalanced life, what you want that to be. And we're going to do that in the big why tab. Next, we're going to go through the economic model, and we're going to go through the numbers of your real estate business. Think about this as designing where you want to go in 2021 with your real estate business. And you can use this a year in and year out. By the way, you could make a 5-year economic plan. You could say, I'm going to make one plan for 2021, but I also want to make my 2025 plan so that I know where it is that I'm going to go. Maybe I only need 1 appointment a week right now, but eventually I'm going to need 4 appointments a week. You can actually create that with this plan. We're going to come back and talk about that. Once you've got your plan together and these two things work together, you need to make sure that you've budgeted correctly for your plan. So we're going to go over today the budget model. In the budget model, you're going to get examples from Gary Keller and the MREA book. You're going to get examples of what a millionaire's budget, a millionaire real estate agent's budget looks like. And then you're going to use those examples to set a budget for yourself. Again, you wouldn't just start spending money haphazardly all the time on your real estate business without having a goal or a model or a budget. Otherwise, you're going to go broke. And we don't want that to happen. We want to create a life by design. And in order to do that, you need to have a budget. Once we've got the budget, we're going to go back and make any adjustments necessary in our economic plan to make sure, based on what we know we're going to spend, what we're going to budget to spend, we're going to hit our goals financially. And we're going to know how many sales we need to make. And once we have that, that's going to come over to our lead generation model. And then the lead generation model, we're going to determine how much of our business is going to come from our database, the people that we know, the people that are committed to helping us with our real estate business, our past clients, friends and family, the people that are going to support you in your real estate business. And how much, that's what we call METs. And then how much is going to come from haven't METs, from people that you don't know. How much business are you going to get from internet lead generation or door knocking, ad calls, sign calls, open houses, target marketing, all the things, social media, all the things that you're going to do to meet people that you don't know so that you can build your real estate business. Then once we know where we're going and we know how many contacts we need to make and what we need to do, we're going to use a GPS. We talked about this yesterday. If you were in my session, same time yesterday, a GPS, goals, priorities, and strategies. It's often called a 1-3-5. 1 goal, 3 priorities or plans. The other P could be plans, and 5 strategies. 5 strategies for each of the 3 priorities lead you to the 1 goal. And remember from yesterday, this is the document that gives you a 300% chance of hitting your goals. You get a 300% chance of hitting your goals, and here's why. Each of those priorities should hit the goal on its own. So if in this instance, the goal is 24 closings, we're actually going to make plans, 3 of them, 3 priorities that will hit closings on their own. So you're actually going to design your business around doing the activities necessary to sell 72 houses, which is going to make it so easy for you to sell 24. If you just follow that plan, you're going to have a 300% chance of hitting your plan. Next, we're going to go through and we're going to prep ourselves for the year. You guys, this is the step so many people miss. They set a goal and they're like, all right, here we go. Tomorrow I'm going to implement everything. I'm sure you guys have done that before, right? You have all these ideas and all these things that you want to implement, and you try and do it all at once. Well, that's not the way life really works. We've got to plan our whole year in advance in order to be really successful. So what this does is it lets you, this document, or this tab rather, it lets you decide, okay, what am I going to do in my job as the realtor on a day-to-day basis, producing listings and sales and working with clients and negotiating contracts? What are the things I'm going to do? And in what month am I going to have that system or tool down pat so that I can do it again and again and again? Next, what are the things I need to do on my business or for my business? Think about on business as you are the CEO of the company. Your real estate business is incorporated. And so for your real estate business, As the CEO, the owner of that business, what are the things you need to do? Who do you need to hire? How much money are you going to spend? Where are you going to spend it? What are the things that you're going to do as the owner of the company? And plan those out over the course of the year. Next, you need a marketing calendar. What marketing are you going to do? What's the marketing you're going to do each month for your business or each quarter? What are the things you're going to do on a monthly basis? So you're going to use this tab to create the marketing calendar for your business for the entire year. And then on a personal and financial level, what is it that you want to do personally? When do you want to travel with your family? When are you going to take time off? When are you going to accomplish the financial goals, that savings goal, or that trip that you want to take, or paying off debt, or whatever it may be financially that you want to accomplish? That's what you're going to do right here. Take a breath. All right. Next, I've given you a spot for recording the most important things that you need. You need to have goals, a 135, a 411, a pipeline, a 36 touch plan, also known as a client care campaign. If you read the original MREA book, it was called a 33 touch campaign. Where are you going to keep your database? What leverage do you need? And what other documents do you have for your business? And then that 36 touch client care program, what does it look like? And here's an example of one that I've given you that you could use. Next, one of the new things that we're doing here at Keller Williams is we're encouraging people to set 12-week goals. So 12-week goals work like this. What you're basically going to do is you're going to take your 135, your goal for the whole year, the goal that in this case is going to produce 72 closings on a goal of 24. So we've got a 300% chance of getting there. We're going to take that and now we're going to turn it into just what am I going to do the next 12 weeks? In the 12-week year book, if you haven't read it before, one of the things that's important about it is the book says you need to drive really hard for 12 weeks and then take a week off to assess and make new goals for the next 12 weeks. It's hard to work every day for a year on the same plan. You may need to adjust as you're going along. Just like in my example from the very beginning, if we're driving to the grocery store and you're not paying attention and you miss a turn, you've got to adjust and you got to make a different turn or reroute yourself to get back to your goal, right? What the 12-week year allows you to do is it allows you to work really hard for 12 weeks towards the goal, and then take a week and assess what changes do I need to make so that I can set another 12-week plan to keep working towards the goal. It's no different than if you were going to fly from South Africa, if you were going to fly from South Africa to Kansas City and your pilot's flying the plane, he's going to course correct. He's going to get off track and he's going to course correct, and he's going to get off track and he's going to course correct in order to get you to Kansas City, if that was where you're going to fly, right? Well, it's the same thing with your real estate business. The 12-week goal allows you to correct along the way for your business so you can still hit that 1-year goal that we've set. Okay, next, once you've got your 135 and you've done your preparation plan and you know what your 12-week goal is, then you're going to take it all and you're going to put it into a 411. Now, a 411 is a really simple document. It's almost like, think about it this way. We call it a 411, but really on paper, it's like a 114. You've got one annual goal, and these are all the things from my 135 and my 12-week goal that I'm trying to accomplish over the course of a year. However, I can't do everything at once. Remember that conversation we just had? So I can't do everything at once. So what I'm going to do is 1 month at a time, I'm going to plan my business. So here you can see I've got goals for just the month of January. Based on what I want to accomplish for the year, I'm setting goals for just the month of January. But even planning 30 days is a lot, right? So we want to break that down further into the 4, which are 4 weeks. And here you can see the 4 weeks, and I've planned exactly what I'm going to do each of the 4 weeks based on my goal for the month. So I've got these goals for the month, and now I'm going to break them down into my 4 weeks. Now, some of them are really simple, right? If I want to make 60 contacts to my database in a month, then I need to make 15 a week, 60 divided by 4, right? Really simple. Or if I want to make 50 contacts to people I don't know, haven't met, through open houses, door knocking, social media, internet leads, whatever it may be, then I need to make about 12 and a half a week, right? So it makes total sense. Some other things are a little harder to figure out, or you need to break them down. Like if one of your goals for the month of January is to clean out your command database, then you may want to start with 100 the first week, and maybe you do the rest the next week. Or maybe you want to do, if you've got 200 in there, you want to do 50 a week. If you're going to launch smart plans for your database in command, you need to go in and design the smart plans. You need to research them. Maybe you're going to look at several of the smart plans that are in the library, and you're going to pick the best one for you. Then maybe one week you're going to pick the plans. Maybe the next week you're going to go in and refine it so it has all the things and all the features in it that you want to have. You will create you can see here I've got January listed. You will create a 411 for each month. Many of my coaching clients will go down and they will duplicate this tab for each month of the year. So they'll end up with one for February and one for March and one for April. And the reason they do that is, again, we're taking our plane or we're driving our car to our destination, and we're going to need to make adjustments along the way. And that's what you're going to utilize the 411. I have about 25 coaching clients, agents in my office that I coach every single year. And every single one of them has a 411. And we pull it up for our coaching sessions every other week when we meet. And we're taking track. You can see I've got an actual column here. And they're showing me actually where are they at on their yearly goal? Where are they at on their goal for this month? And then how have they done each week? So we're tracking how we're doing. So you can see here, I've shown a copy of the 411, and then we've started to put it in for February. I might even go in and rename it, right? This might be the 0221 411 for the month of February. And so you can go in and make copies of that. Now, the next tab on our Google Sheet is one of my favorites. One of my favorites. It is the scoreboard report. So basically, again, tracking your business so you know where you're at is going to be really important, right? So we're going to go through and we're going to pick inside this scoreboard, we're going to pick where we're at based on today. So as of today, where should I be on my goals? So you can see if my goal was to, if the overall goal through January was to have $236,000 in total GCI and I only have 13,000, I'm obviously well behind, right? So you're going to go through here, and this is going to show you where you need to be on your goal, how you're doing with your 4 conversations. And then if you have a coach, there's a spot for coaching notes. Again, there's more on this in the video. Next is your pipeline. I hope that you guys, many of our agents use Command for their pipeline, which is awesome. It's called Opportunities, which is a great place to keep everything. But maybe you want additional numbers, or you want it all in one place where you can just see your year in a view. So that's what the pipeline is for. The pipeline's got all of my business in it, my pipeline of future business, as well as my pipeline of people that I already have under contract. And again, this is all in the video, and you'll be able to see how to use this to be able to track your business. There's a range tab for putting in different categories that you're going to use. And then one of my favorite things is my first coach at Keller Williams, who really coached me on my business and my market center, was a guy named John Davis. John Davis was a president. He was first a regional director and then was a president and CEO of Keller Williams. John taught me about the 4 conversations and how to focus on them. And I've had agents for the last 10 years focusing on those 4 conversations. Basically, you break your business down into how many appointments do you need on a monthly basis? How many listings are you taking, both buyer listings and seller listings? How many closings have you had, and what is your income or your profit on a monthly basis? And the fun thing about this Google Sheet that I've given you today is You can do this in two ways. One, if you use the pipeline and you enter all the information in the pipeline, it will automatically filter right into your Google Sheet. So you can see here, this is an example, and the goal was 4 appointments in February, and this particular agent had 3. The goal was 3 listings and they had 2. It's automatically filled in for me because I used that pipeline. Or the other thing you can do is you can use these yellow boxes down below and you can list, who did I have appointments with this week? Was it a seller or buyer? Was I the responsible agent? Who did I have listings? Who did I take a listing from? Who are my clients that have signed a listing agreement or signed a buyer agency agreement and agreed and committed to work with me? What closings have I had and how much income have I made? And you'll see there is through this tab, there is 4 conversations for every single month all the way through December. So you can track how you're doing on your business, and you'll see year-to-date totals on the top half of your sheet. And the last thing in our Google Sheet today is the time-blocked calendar. Think of this as your perfect weekly schedule. So on a weekly basis, if you could design your perfect weekly schedule, what would it look like? Time blocking is huge towards hitting your goals. Gary tells us you need to make sure and time block from the time you get up in the morning until about 11 o'clock or noon every day. And that is the part that you really need to get right. If you get your mornings right, the rest of the day, I promise you, will take care of itself and you will hit your goals. Gary talks about 3 hours of lead generation and follow-up each day. And you can see from 9 to noon in my time block calendar, I've got that lead generation and that follow-up, as well as some training and some meetings and market research that I need to make sure I get done every morning. I've got exercise every morning. I've got off time plans so I can plan my day. And then you can see I've got my appointments in the afternoon and when I'm going to quit for the day. And that's my perfect weekly schedule. And I am working to do all my lead generation and follow my schedule every single morning so that all afternoon I have appointments with my clients. Okay, you guys, that is a quick overview of the whole sheet and how it works. Remember, just as a recap, back in the document section that is in my class today, back in the document section is a link to a video that goes through and explains this whole sheet to you. It's an hour long, so you can walk through and actually create your own. So you've got that roadmap on how to get to your life by design and how to hit your 1-year goals. All right, let's go back now. One of the things we really wanted to talk about today is we wanted to focus on the economic model and the budget model. Honestly, these are the 2 most important models, I think, in any realtor's business, because they give you the roadmap that you're going to follow in order to achieve your goals. And we're going to start with budget model first. So here's how the budget model works. Over here on the left-hand column in column A, these are the 13 columns that the 13 categories that Gary gives us in the MREA book as far as the things that we need to budget for. We're going to budget for, if we have a listing specialist, if you're on a team and you've got someone that you're paying to go on listing appointments for you, which is called a listing specialist, how much are you going to spend on that? If you have buyer agents on your team that are going to work with buyers, how much are you going to spend on that? And then how much are you going to spend on company dollar and royalty? What is your cap? What is your company dollar cap? What's your royalty? Or how much are you're going to pay into the company? Now, if you're a standalone agent, you're not going to have columns 1 and 2 or rows 1 and 2. You may only have row 3. In my market center here in Kansas City, our cap is $18,000 and our royalty is $3,000. So you can see I've gone over here in column F and I've entered in $21,000 because that's what it is in our market area. However, in Gary's MREA book, in the red book, you can see, if you go through and read the book, you'll see that an MREA, a millionaire real estate agent who nets $1 million, has about $2.4 million in overall commission income, what we call GCI, or gross commission income. On average, Gary found they spent about $100,000 on a listing specialist, $360,000 on a buyer specialist, and $240,000 in company dollar and royalty, because they're paying all the company dollar and royalty for their team. Here are the percentages based on the 2.4 million. Here are the percentages of each of those categories. So this is the amount that they spent, which we call cost of sales. Cost of sales are what you pay to your company and basically commissions you're paying to other agents on your team. Then we have expenses, or what Gary calls operating expenses. Those are the 10 categories right here that I have listed. These 10 rows are salaries, lead generation and advertising, occupancy, rent, and office expense, technology, internet, phone, supplies, education, equipment, automobile and insurance, and a miscellaneous column. And for a millionaire real estate agent, an agent that you'll see here has $1 million in net profit before taxes. This is how much money on average Gary found that millionaire real estate agents spent. And again, these are the percentages. So you may have heard of a model called the 30-30-40 model. Well, the 30-30-40 model is basically this budget model. This budget model is that 30-30-40 system. Now, why did we call it 30-30-40? Why do we train our agents on that? It's because Gary found that cost of sales for an MREA agent, for a millionaire real estate agent, cost of sales were 30%. So it was basically we're rounding up, right? 29.2, we're going to call it 30%. But operating expenses also were 30%. So the profit left over is the 40%. So a millionaire real estate agent profits 40% of every dollar that they make in their business. And that's where that 30-30-40 model comes from. Now, based on how much money you're going to bring in, and this flows over from the economic tab, and in this case, $180,000 is my example, you're going to go through and you're going to do a suggestion. 180,000 isn't 2.4 million, right? And so what would a suggestion be for an agent making $180,000 or a single agent working by themselves? You can go in and adjust all these items in red. I've actually done it for you. And based on my research of a single individual agent, especially one that's just getting started in their first couple of years, this is about what I see on average that people spend on their business. I see them spending somewhere around 11 or 12% on their company dollar or royalty, or what Gary calls cost of sales. Most of them don't have any salaries that they're paying. They don't have an assistant yet when they're getting started. However, one of the levels you'll get to is getting administrative support as quickly as possible is going to be really important to your business. So salaries would go here, but in the beginning, I see that being zero for most agents. I see most agents spending about 5% of their gross commission income on lead generation and advertising. That's your client care program, what you're spending on your database, as well as the other things that you're doing to lead generate, the other money you're spending. If you are spending money online doing command Facebook ads, if you are throwing client events, that's all going into lead generation. I see the average agent spending about 1.5% of their income, of their gross commission income on occupancy, rent, and office expense. And then about 0.5% of their overall GCI, I see them spending on technology, phone, supplies, education, equipment. I see about 5% on automobile expenses, insurance, gas, maintenance, whatever it costs you for your car, and about 1% on miscellaneous. So we talk about 30-30-40, and that's for a big real estate team, right? For an individual agent, I see about 12, 15, and 73. I see about a 73% profit for most of my individual agents, especially those just getting started. When you're getting started, you're going to play a game Gary calls red light, green light in the MREA book. And that is, you're going to be really stingy about your expenses, and you're only going to green light those expenses that are really going to cause you to make more money. And the ones that don't, you're going to red light, you're going to stop. You're going to stop spending money on those things that aren't working for you. Now, I've given you in column E right here, I've given you an example of what you might spend on your business, what your budget might be, because we're in the budget model. But you get to go over here in the red column where these items are all the items in red, and you get to list exactly what you want to spend. So this is a real life example. This is an agent that I'm working with that wants to produce 6 million in sales. They want to have $180,000 in gross commission income. They have $21,000 for cost of sales. That's their cap and their royalty. They're going to spend $3,000 on lead generation, $1,080 on their occupancy rent, basically their office bill, $1,200 on technology, $1,200 on their phone, $1,200 on education, $300 on equipment, $300 on education, $1,200 on equipment, $6,000 on their automobile, and $960 for miscellaneous. So about $16,000, or about 9%. So they're literally going to end up with about an 80% profit from their business, which is awesome. So down below, you're going to see two important things here in these yellow boxes that we want to carry back over to our economic model. So this agent was going to spend $21,000 in cap and royalty, and $1,345 per month is their budget for their business in operating expenses. So now let's go back to economic model. So in the economic model, again, this is your roadmap. This is your plan to hit your 1-year goal, right? Here's how this works. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take from our budget that $1,345 a month, and we're going to put that right here into D8, and we're going to put in that $1,345 a month. You see, I've already done it for you. Then in A7, we're going to put our $21,000 cap and royalty, right from our budget model. These two yellow lines, two yellow boxes, are going right here in D8 and A7. Now the fun part ensues. You're going to pick how much profit do you want to make for the year. So you get to pick that number. Now let's say that you've been in real estate for a couple of years and you're doing really well, and your goal is to make more money. Maybe you want to make double this amount. And so you can enter $200,000. So you'll see the sheet will automatically start adjusting, and it will tell me, instead of making 24 sales or having 24 closings in the year, now I need 43 because I've adjusted my profit. Now you also get to go in and you get to choose what is your tax rate. If you want to make a goal for yourself, basically after taxes, how much money am I going to net? Then you can go in and put your tax rate. Now, maybe you don't have taxes, and you can certainly go in and enter 0. And if I enter 0, now you can see if I don't have any taxes, or maybe I don't want to worry about taxes, I just want to get the net profit for my business before taxes, you can put 0 in. And now you can see I need to sell 32 houses or have 32 closings in order to net $200,000 for my business. Okay, I'm going to go back in and put 30%. You also are going to go in and choose how many weeks you're going to work. Now, why is that important? Why is that particular box important? And here's why. Remember I told you we're going to adjust along the way in our business? So when you're going to adjust along the way, one of the things you can use in your economic model is you can make your economic model for a shorter period of time. Maybe it's the 4th quarter and you just want to make an economic model for 12 weeks. You can simply put a 12 in here. And now I just made a plan, a 12-week plan to make $200,000 net. And you can adjust the plan. So let's talk about using 48 weeks, which I think of as a year. I'm giving you 4 weeks off. What's the rest of the economic model? Well, the rest of it is you're going to decide how much of your business is going to come from sellers versus buyers. Then you're going to decide what's your average commission rate for sellers and buyers. You're going to put in your average sales price for sellers and buyers. What percentage of the time that you take a listing does it actually sell and close? And you're going to put a percentage in for sellers and buyers. What's your conversion rate when you go on an appointment? When you go on an appointment, how many times do you get the listing? And you're going to put in a conversion rate for sellers and buyers. Once you've entered all the items in red, you're going to find out how many appointments do you need to go on each week based on the number of weeks that you're going to work. Remember, if we were going to make this a 12-week plan, we'd put 12 in, and now I need to go on 6.4 appointments a week in order to hit my goal, right? Okay. Now let's go back to my example agent. They're going to work 48 weeks of the year, and they're going to earn $100,000. They're going to need basically one appointment a week in order to do it. That's what the economic model is telling them, right? Now there is another thing that happens, especially in our area. So in Kansas City, if I turn my computer around right now and I showed you outside of my house, you would see snow on the ground. We've got a couple of inches of snow on the ground. And consequently, this is winter in Kansas City, and our market slows down in the winter. And in the spring, our market spikes. So I have, for my agents, I've given them a seasonality plan where they can go through and they can pick what their seasonality is going to look like. On average, this is what I see happen in the Kansas City real estate market. We're about 30% of capacity in January, 40% in February. By May and June, we're at 100% of capacity. That's when the market is at the max. The max number of buyers and sellers are in the market. That's when we see the most closings happen. So as an agent, I may want to go and adjust my business. I may want to adjust my plan in order to take into account seasonality. And that's what this allows you to do. You don't have to use that, but that's just one of the little extra things that is inside that plan. All right. Now I've got about 5 minutes left. And so in my last 5 minutes with you all, I want to make sure that I'm hitting any questions that anybody has. So if you've got any questions, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment. And I want to go in and make sure that I'm answering any questions that anyone has. All right. So the first question is, David, what do you advise for implementing this for the year, seeing that we're already on February 1st of quarter one? Great question. I love that question. What I would do is I would go in, and you may want to adjust that plan, going back to the economic model where I showed you can put in the weeks. You may want to make the plan 44 weeks. 44 weeks and start on February the 1st. So it will tell you what you need to do monthly on February the 1st. You also may use that seasonality. Because you've got that seasonality, let's just go back to my screen here real quick. I'm going to share that with you one more time real fast, just to answer this question. You may go over to seasonality, and maybe you didn't have any closings in January, so you're going to put a 0 there. And when you put a 0 in there, you're going to see now I've planned for no closings in January, and I know what I need to do the rest of the year to still hit my yearly goal. That's a great question. So you still want to plan the whole year, but maybe you're going to use actual results for what you know happened in January. Maybe you know what's going to happen in February and March as well. And so you're planning for the future. That's a great question. One other person said they were unable to access the document. If it says access denied, just go in and request from me to give you access. Every once in a while that happens, but sometimes there are just gremlins out there that make that happen. What you want to do is you don't want to, the version that I've given you, you want to make a copy of it. And that's why if you go to the documents section, you will see it will force you, when you click the button for the plan, it will force you to make a copy of it, your own copy to use. So you can't edit mine. You've got to create a copy of your own. If you could only choose a single Excel, which one would you do? If you could only choose one thing to concentrate on, I think is what it's saying. If you only choose one thing to concentrate on, I would concentrate on the economic model. And here's why. The economic model is basically giving you exactly what you need to do. I think agents are really surprised a lot of times when I tell them, hey, you want to make $100,000 a year after taxes. This is all you need to do. Every Monday morning at 8 o'clock, wake up and spend that week finding one client to have an appointment with who wants to buy or sell. All you need to do to make $100,000 net after taxes, or even better yet, for fun, let's take the taxes out of it. If you want to make $150,000 a year net, all you need to do is go on one appointment. Actually, it's even more than that. If we're going to go on one appointment, there we go. We'll put in $160,000. So forget the taxes for a minute. If you want to make $160,000 a year in profit selling real estate, all you need to do is go on one appointment a week. One new client appointment a week. When I get to the end of my class, when I teach this, it just amazes people that it only takes one appointment a week in order to hit their goals. Most people are blown away by that, and you will be too. So take the time, go into the documents section of today's session and make a copy of that Google Sheet, download that video. It'll take a minute. It's a big video. Download that video and go through and use it. Use it for yourself. Somebody said this is the CGI calculator on steroids. That's exactly right. Instead of writing everything out by hand from the MREA book, I've given it to you in a Google Sheet and given you step-by-step instructions on exactly what you need to do in order to make that happen. Now, anybody that's having trouble, remember, all you need to do to get access is you just need to go in and you need to make a copy for yourself. And last but not least, I'm going to throw in the chat real quickly. Here is my email address. And if you would shoot me an email, if you can't get the document, I'll make one for you and send it to you. So if you're having trouble, if the access to the document is denied, make sure and send me an email. It's right there. My email address is right there in the chat, and I will personally send you one myself. All right, you guys, this is about our last 60 seconds together before we break. Any other questions that anybody has? All right, while I'm waiting for that last question, I'm going to tell you this. Take the time to plan your life. Take the time to go through and plan what you want your business to look like in 5 years. Gary Keller says you can be anywhere you want in your real estate business in 5 years. And then make that next year goal, make your 2021 goal, the destination that you want to go to, and then drive forwards towards that. Hit the life of your dreams by selling real estate. This is the greatest career we could ever ask for. Thank you so much for being here today.